Okay, day two. Royal Ascot. It's not quite so windy today. Doug's extricated himself from Bettina Bassett. Stu's busy counting his money for all his second places. How are you both doing today?
Oh, I'm very good.
Yeah, me too, thank you.
So how did you feel about yesterday then, Stu? 2 close seconds? Are you pleased or are you moaning
It was
because you didn't
2
win?
close seconds. Bit disappointing, I guess, because they both come second. I was surprised after saying Speedy McDeeby would come last to get up as it did, and almost get there. But obviously drawn a bit wide there. There's a lot of, I know it's a straight course, but I still think if you're out there, the game tends to favour people a bit closer to the fence. So no, I was unfortunate. I mean, Darren House's horse just coming over the top of everybody in the Royal Hunt. I mean, fantastic, really. It was a great finish. But, 2 seconds, I should be happy with that. I was disappointed with Keys, though. I think Keys come 4th, or maybe even 5th. I thought he would have done better because it was a few lengths, but just didn't get going. But I'm not sure I've got anything else now. I think that they were my chances. So we'll see over the next couple of days.
Oh, so you did better than me, and I think you did better than Doug. Did you have anything any good, Doug?
No, that's shocker. Everything was shocking.
I think Jim Murray had a good day, didn't he? 2 Route 1s. You're going to be happy with that?
Yeah, and a second. He got a second in the first, didn't he? Yeah, no, across the board they did really well. I thought Sunspark was a little bit disappointing, but I mean, a win, a second and a third in 12 races, and not bad compared to us. Paul did well, got all around. I mean, he only got the 1 winner, but I mean, 3 seconds? I think a couple of thirds. He was in the money most of the time. And Darren, obviously, a winner and a second, did very well. And obviously, Hollywood, right down the bottom there.
Yeah.
Picking up a good win there.
I reckon that's his first win of the season, isn't it?
Could be.
I think he's had one on the jump. He's had one on the jumps.
He's had quite a small stable anyway, hasn't he? He's not got a massive stable or anything running around his Mr. Blobby colours.
Yeah, I'm not overly sure about those pink jodhpur things. I think they're a bit much. It does look a bit like Mr. Blobby, doesn't it? But he was pretty surprising. No,
I know this is.
I think John Morgan had a good day.
Yeah, no, he did. I mean, what did he? A couple of winners. Yeah. I think he got a second and a third as well, so in the money a lot.
Yeah, it was the usual suspects up there, wasn't it? Really, too many surprises. It was good to see a couple of other different people getting a win. Like I said, Derek and Darren got wins as well, didn't they? So that was good. And Kevin Minahan won the long distance race, didn't he? Which is good. So we got a few different people on the board, which is
We're
good.
not mentioning Hans's first and second, no. Winning the first race.
Yeah, that was a good one. You're just going to take things as they are, aren't you? And it won okay, and his other ones didn't. So who's to say? Who's to say what they are? I'm sure
he's accused of a lot of things. Let's put it that way.
If they were all what some people think they are, he'd win every race, wouldn't he? So maybe we're not really being very fair to him. I don't know.
No, that's it. Well, he's in the game and he's doing well.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah, and it won that first race fair and square, I think. And I don't think anybody could say anything about the two runners not working either, because I think that made for some really exciting races today. Some trainers having 2 runners in. There wasn't any suggestion that anybody put one in just to set the race up for their other one.
Yeah,
Paul's 2 coming second
that's
and
just
third.
Dreaming, I think.
Was great. Yeah, it was good.
No one's going to upload a horse just to be a pacemaker.
No, of course. Anyway, let's get on to day 2, shall we? I can hear the trundle of wheels, and sounds like the
squeaky.
Yeah, the royal procession is on its way up the Ascot Straight. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see those horses again. I don't know what colour she's in though.
If
I would hazard a guess, I'll go for blue again. She's got to wear blue one day this week, so I'm going to go for blue.
I think she's going to go for parrot red.
Parrot red.
Parrot red.
Parakeet red.
Parakeet
red. Oh dear, I've got to look that one up.
Actually, I'm not sure if parakeets have any red. Could be grass. Hang on. It could be grass parrot green.
Grass parrot green. Didn't she have green on yesterday?
No, it was yellow. It was yellow yesterday, wasn't it? I think maybe some sort of beigey colour. I think probably something a bit boring today.
Beige, the queen in beige.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling in a beige kind of mood. I don't know. Anyway, you've got the best binoculars, Stu. Have a squint and see if you can see what she's got on.
It's bloody Cerise.
Oh,
Pinky Cerise.
She's called dressed up for Doug.
Is that Cerise? I like the word Cerise, obviously.
Yeah,
let's go with Cerise.
Yeah, she's obviously cold. It's a bit of a woolly old coat, that. That'll ball up a bit, I think. She wears that ever again.
That's very close to Doug's colours, isn't it? They're a little bit pale, but it's close. I think she's...
No, well, she does like me.
She does.
Has taken a fancy.
That's a nice brooch. I don't know what colour those stones are. They're probably worth billions. Given to her by the Saudis, probably.
That's really a knockoff from China. Made of plastic, 25 cents.
Yeah, she's been down the pound shop.
How's Philip? How's he looking? Stiff upper lip, isn't it?
Stiff something.
Yeah, he looks like he's sat on a spring, to be honest.
Yeah, he's always
That's
looking
how
for
they've
more.
got him propped up right.
So who have we got in the second carriage today then? Any idea who they
I'm
are?
no good with my royals.
Oh, I think that's Middleton. I want to be a princess, isn't it?
It looks like it might be.
Why has she got my net curtains on?
I don't know, but they have net curtains in Spain.
Is that a
Yeah, no, we try and, you know, well, people looking at us all the time, do you? Just have net curtains. Well, maybe it's just a British thing, and I've got net curtains.
I didn't think anybody had net curtains anymore. I can't see anybody. I don't know anybody who's got net curtains.
Yeah, well, Kate Middleton.
So what do you reckon? Oh, what's his name? What's that bloke sitting next to me called? I get them mixed up. I just know that one of them's Ginger and one of them's not, and it's the
I can't remember his name either,
the
Edward.
thing that nobody will ever talk about. Maybe he's trying to explain to that other bloke.
George. Oh, no, that's the kid. Kid's called George, I know that much.
Is he William? Is he?
Boris Becker?
Harry. William, you were right.
Yeah,
Get in there.
Yeah, they look rather like Lord Snooty out of Beano to me, but
I'm not sure what he's doing with his hand. Do you think that's some kind of...
I think what he's doing
message?
there is because I think a lot of these rules are more interested in jump racing, and what he's doing, he is explaining to that bloke opposite what Josh's horse did wrong yesterday in that jumps race to get disqualified. He's just saying it swerved off a path and bashed into John's, and old Kate Middleton's laughing because she had a bet on John's horse so she could pay for that hat.
Yeah, no, that's just a weaved, I don't know, that's an old bread basket, isn't it? With a flower stuck in the middle.
A few dove feathers.
Well, she'll have a shock in a minute,
Yeah.
because if you see that yellow flower he's got there, that's one of those trick ones that's full of water, so any minute now he's going to use his other hand that he can't see to squeeze the thing, and a great squirt of water's going to come out straight in her face, and then she's not going to be happy about that at all.
Hey, Kate, sniff my rose. Sniff my rose, will you?
I didn't think both of them are into water sports, but they might be.
Well, he loves a good prank.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, I'm sure they'll have another lovely day like they did yesterday. And did you actually bump into the Queen yesterday, or are you saving it for today, Doug? Because you sort of like went missing for a bit, didn't you, yesterday?
Yeah, no, I'm saving it for today, actually.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, we'll see what happens. See what happens later on then.
I'm on a list, I can't get anywhere near her.
Right, the first race to look at today then is the Ribblesdale Stakes. It's a 1 mile 4 furlong fillies Group 2. It's often referred to as the Ascot Oaks. Interesting looking field. What do we make of this lot then? What do you think, Doug?
It's going to be a tough one to pick. When you look at John Morgan's got 2 3-year-olds in it having their first start. Paul Rhodes has got a horse, Kawasaki. I imagine that's for the motorcycle, Kawasaki. You've got Groupie in it, Martin. And then outside of that, Jim Murray's got a horse. He's got 2 in there, Thunderspark. Steve Rand's got 1. This is going to be a real hard race to pick a winner. Go with something that's already won. Do you gamble with something that's coming in for the first start? I'm going to go with Kawasaki for Paul Rhodes because I've owned a couple of Kawasaki's when I was younger.
I suppose you're setting that up for me to say I'm going to go for Groupie because I had a few Groupies when I was younger, but I'm not going to say that.
I could have said that too.
I'm not sure which one I'm going to go for then. I'm having a look. Well, maybe I'll go for Indian. No, I can't Indian Star Girl because people get the wrong idea. Okay, anyway, looking at the race. Now, I'm more likely, digging for goal for Stephen Ryan. Like you said, it only won over 10. I think it comes second in the Oaks, didn't it? That digging for gold. So maybe might not make 1-4, but I'm going to go for one of John's. I think John's probably have a sneaky feeling he's going to come back really hot, and I'll go for Trevi, as in Trevi Founting, I imagine. So Trevi for John Morgan for me.
Well, the interesting thing about those 2 John Morgan horses, if they were the real horses, then they'd both be sort of like 2 furlongs in front of all the others, because Trev have won 2 arcs, I think, a couple of years ago with Frankie Dettori, got jocked off the second time, and Dahlia was a really good mare in the 70s with Lester Piggott used to ride that, and I've got a feeling that won a couple of arcs as well. So he knows he's racing, John, so he obviously thinks they're good if he's called them that, so they're probably going to be streets ahead of all the others if they're anything like that, but I'm going to stick with my normal thing and go with Vizcaya for Thunderspark because it's unbeaten. And I'll just give you a quick word on mine, which is it's one of the stupidest named horse I've ever had, really. I moaned about John calling his horse, what was it called yesterday, Leo the toilet brush or something it was called, I can't remember. That is the stupidest name I've ever given a horse, and it turned out to be one of my best ones ever, which I was quite annoyed about, really. It ought to be brilliant bars wise. It should do really well. So we'll be interested to see what happens with that one.
Well, good luck with that one then. Tough field though.
Yeah, it's not an easy race for it to start with. So after that, then we've got the centrepiece of the entire meeting, as it used to be anyway, the Ascot Gold Cup. It's started to sort of turn into a decent race again over the last few years as well. So that's good. 2.5 miles, Group 1, longest Group 1 in the UK, and we have got an absolutely massive field for it, which is really good to see.
Yeah, no, it is a very big field. I mean, there's a couple of trainers in there with a couple of horses, and Graham's got a couple. I don't think anyone else. Maybe it's just Graham. I can see he's got a couple of horses. But yeah, no, a really big field. My Keys was going to go this way, but no, I really thought he can't beat half of these, I have to say. But I think there's a banker in this one, and I really do think it. I think it is John Morgan's Koi Arch. I think put your money on. Yeah. Without doubt, you know, it ran as a 4-year-old, wasn't it? And it's missed his 5-year-old season, and it came back and won the Welsh National, the Welsh Gold Cup by 4 or 5 lengths last week, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it won this last year. Pretty sure it won the Gold Cup last year as well, or was that the year before?
This one of his horses, yeah.
Yeah, no, it missed out a season, I think, didn't it? I think it was a 4-year-old it was about, and then it missed a season, and he's brought it back, and it smashed the field last week. And I assume some of these same horses are in the field this week as well. I mean, I haven't looked at the Welsh Gold Cup from last week, but now I'm going for Koi Arch, and I think there's money on. It's a banker of the whole week.
What about you, Dick?
Yeah.
The Kiss of Stew.
Yeah. And you, Doug?
I'm going to cancel out the Kiss of Stew with Koi Arch myself.
Yeah, I think realistically...
It's one start, 133 rating, and the next one's 118.
Yeah, I mean, this is supposedly the like I said, the centrepiece of the meeting. Probably the race we should be talking about the longest, but we're probably going to be talking about it for the least amount of time, because I think we all know that this Koi Arch is just streets ahead of the rest of them, and he's liable to win, probably win pulling a cart, carrying all of us three as well. I would think it's a bit of a monster horse, and I just can't see any of these others getting anywhere near it, to be honest.
Okay, so all three of us gone for that one. All three of us
have gone for that one, and I don't think even the Kiss of Stew could stop Koi Arch. Which takes us on to the first handicap of the day. This is a 0 to 100, the Britannia. It's a mile. It's straight up the Ascot straight. It's not that big a field, so there shouldn't be too many hard luck stories. And what do you think about this one then?
Okay, well, I like a good handicap. I've got one in there myself, but really it's a 7 furlong horse, and really she's just been put in there for the run, to be truthful with you. No, tricky actually, because there's only what we show in latest form, and a couple of winners in the last 4 weeks. Let's say they could have won, obviously, in the week prior to that. Tricky one. It's the usual handicap field, as in trainers. No, so it's actually quite hard to pick one out here. I mean, if we look towards the bottom, well, Larwood A, Doug, has that got a chance? Or does it need firmer ground?
Nah, I've just got it in. I'm not confident.
Not confident. Okay, well, I'll go top of the pile then. Let's go for Dreamer's Mile for Moylets. I mean, if he's 89 rated, I'm surprised there's nothing between 89 and 100 in this. I'm kind of thinking I wish I'd run my other horse off 74 in this now. Okay, no, I'm going to go for Dreamer's Mile, Moylet Surfer.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go another Philip, Darren Howes, for no real reason. Just that Darren's horses are pretty consistent, and it's got a real chance in this.
Yeah, it's giving £15 to the top weight. It's enough.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it form-wise, you're probably looking at Harris Kinnemer, wouldn't you? Think that have a bit of chance he won last time out. I'm going to go for James Follis, All Out of Love, because that was a pretty good Anastasia track years ago. And
shall I sing it?
I'm pretty sure.
All Out of Love, All Out of Love. Is that one?
I'm pretty yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's why it's named as well, because I seem to remember that Formula One Follis wrote up about his horses in the forum before the season, and he showed the breeding, and I'm pretty sure that horse is out of a mare called Anastasia. So if it is, that's pretty clever naming and pretty good, and
very good.
It'll probably beat my Edge of 17, which was out of Stevie Nick. So
they ran the Group 1 last week. It came 6. That wasn't bad.
It was one of my borderline transfer outs, but it just about managed to scrape in ahead of ahead of Belladonna in the Stevie Nicks playoff, and Edge of 17 stayed in. But it's one of those horses that hasn't got a trip really. 7 furlongs, mile and a quarter, mile. I don't know. It doesn't. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's a funny horse.
And Ascot being Ascot.
So you never know. It could do okay. Which takes us on to the Tercentenary Stakes, which is a mile and a quarter race for 3-year-olds. And obviously we have got a hatful of new horses in this because they're eligible to run it, and we've got some pretty decent form from the ones that have run as well. So this could actually be quite a good race. What are you liking, Doug?
I'm gonna do the flow from Handicap's wife, and she just picked either because of their name or the silks, and she had a better strike rate than Handicap, so I'm going to go with the Iliad, John Morgan. That's the name that just stuck out to me.
Yeah, okay. It was similar here. I mean, it's hard to tell, like you say, what Jim's horse will be, what John's be. I mean, even my own. I like mine. Mine's got one of those ones with plenty of bars in it, which is quite rare, so we'll see how that goes. But no, I think let's go further upfield. Thunderspark, 3 out of 4 wins in its last 4. I doubt if it's running anything other than 1 or 2 Scalafa Steam. No, I think I'll have to go for Thunderspark. I think it's got strong form there, and it's a Group 3. It's probably a Group 1 horse. So I'm going to go for Supervia for Thunderspark.
Yeah, it's an interesting sort of race, and like you say, we don't know what the new ones are going to be like. Deadly Drop Bear sprung a surprise last time, so there's a possibility that could do it again. The ground's on the soft side. Most of these, if you look down, either declared they want firm ground or haven't said anything. Now, I know a lot of people don't actually change the ground preference, just leave it as good. Can't really go on that much, but I reckon I'm going to go with Deadly Drop Bear for that one. So that's the first 4 races done. Then I think it's probably time we had a little bit of a look what's going on out and about. Okay, it's time to go for a little bit of a wander outside and see if we can pick up any fashion tips again today. Now, we got a little bit of telling off yesterday for being a little bit rude to some of our lady friends and things, so we're going to be a little bit nicer today, aren't we, chaps?
Well, I like your theory here that these are the new silks designed by Jim Murray.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. They're modelling them all. I think it's
mix and match.
But I'll tell you what I've noticed with these new silks. Well, we all know your bug about it, Martin, is that you still think there should be the white pants.
I do.
And obviously they're not wearing boots. I think they should be wearing boots. But what I do notice, they've actually Jim Murray's modelled all these silks after us.
Is he?
Like, the all pink is definitely Hollywood Hinton.
That's true.
The all red is definitely my colours.
Yep.
With the red cap. The all white, well, that's your colours, are they, Stu?
They're my old colours, I'd like to say now, but yes, they are my all white, correct.
And the light blue, that'd be Formula One filers.
Yep.
And the all purple, well, that's got to be Martin.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah,
very good.
What about the green on the end? Who's that?
No, I reckon that's Colin Clark.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. That's very good, Doug.
There we go. So
they all look very lovely.
I'm not sure about the oversized lipsticks they're carrying.
Is that a lipstick? Yeah, no, I suppose it is.
No,
a bottle of Chanel or something. Yeah, no, they are lipsticks.
Oh, that one in the purple, she's got my microphone. She's going to come and do a bit of commentating later.
She looks like my Auntie Myrtle.
Does she?
Yeah, she does. She's about the age of my Auntie Myrtle. Sorry.
I haven't got any aunties that look like that. How come you've got aunties that look like that? That doesn't seem very...
I'm not so sure. You know, they're a beautiful bunch. I'm not saying any more.
Well, the one in white looks a little bit surprised about something. I don't know whether she's just discovered that she's spending the afternoon up in the commentary booth with Doug or something or what. But
no, you know what it is. 2 seconds, mate. 2 seconds. She's not happy at all.
And obviously the one in the pink is smiling with her
that's
win.
Hollywood Hinton.
Yeah, exactly.
And the cracker all in.
Yeah.
Look at the smile.
She's very creased up. I don't know what she's been doing with that jacket.
Hollywood's a bit more of a dasher than that to have creases.
Yeah, no, I would have thought he got the iron out regularly.
I think so. So well, anyway, that's another good thing that we've got now to add to the SO6 Arsenal. Forget all those other dress designers you've heard of. We've now discovered a new one, Jim Murray, dress designer.
Yeah.
They'll be queuing up three deep.
What's a Hawk Couture or whatever it's called?
Yeah, they'll be queuing up three deep at Debenhams or C&A or whatever it's called to get their off-the-peg trouser suits designed by Jim Murray. that'll be good.
Who's that old geezer, the fashion designer with the white ponytail? The really old guy.
Karl Lagerfeld. He's got a ponytail. Oh, sorry, is he not just nobody? I'm trying to think. Who else is still alive? It's Archie. He's dead.
No. He does. Is he part of Chanel?
I don't know. Who's taking that? I don't know.
He wears the big neck collars that cover his wrinkly neck.
That sounds like me.
He wears the big black glasses.
Oh, I've got no idea. Well, we need fashion experts for this. I've got no idea.
Yeah, no, I don't know that either. Haute couture sounds very nice though.
No,
I'll find them.
Yeah, well, that can be your task for later. We'll tell us all tomorrow.
I'll do it right now.
Who it is, and well, you can do it right now. Right, this is what we like: instant gratification. You can't ask for more than that.
This is live.
live as it happens. Then this is pretty good stuff. This
a bit slow at typing. Come on, Doug.
It is Karl Lagerfeld.
Karl Lagerfeld's time.
Jim Murray's a new Karl Lagerfeld. We'll have to start calling him Karl Murray from now on.
Yeah, Karl Lagerfeld is his new nickname, and
that's right.
That's good. We'll have nicknames for everybody before long. The way we're going. So
so we should.
Okay, let's get back and have a look at a few more races, shall we?
Sure. Radio race 17 is the King George V handicap, mile 4 furlong, 0 to 100. And what do you reckon, Mark?
Looks like a good race. Personally, I think this could be one of my best chances of a win this week. Arabella Hotel was put in to be a 1 3/4 horse, but has already won a race over 1.5 miles. Is looking better over 1.5 miles in the league, and I think that she could do okay. And I'm going to tip myself.
Oh, nice. We like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, no.
What do you reckon, Steve?
Okay, well, I actually also quite like mine off the weight it's got, although it's one of those horses that kind of trials well at 10 and 12, which means I've got no good middle distance horses. You know, it's back and forwards, but I doubt if I'll win it because there's a reasonably good field here with some good reasonably good horses in handicap fields. I mean, Colin Clark's got obviously a winner in there. I mean, I know you have as well Martin Darren again last time out. Kevin Minahan second last time out and a fourth. I don't like 3-year-olds giving weight. I do follow that in my own betting. So, you know, and as a 3-year-old plus, I always think if it's a 4-year-old, then it will do better than a 3-year-old with weight. Okay, so I'm going to go for Colin Clark's Tlachikole. I assume I've pronounced that completely wrong.
I'm not trying it.
I think you're commentating on this, aren't you, Doug? So
good luck.
So you'll have to give it a bash.
No, I think Timmy's got it. Hang on.
You got it, mine.
I do.
This is a Doug.
I can't pronounce this. I'm going to call it T-Carl. Okay, it's a pretty open race, isn't it, really? There's a couple of trainers got multiple entries here. Gray's got Adamant. I was looking probably at Adamant, or who was the other? Maybe Molliette's horse. No, I'm going to go with Adamant, just because it's...
So you're expecting that one to stand and deliver, are you?
That's right.
Well, it'll be the king of the wild frontiers. Let's all just pretend we know Adamant songs now.
I only know that big one and that other one, Martin.
That big one and the other one.
I'm quite surprised you know any at all, Stu, to be honest, given your sort of like musical background.
You think, honestly, it's quite funny that you think my musical. I actually play along with your thinking I'm stupid. But no, I actually come from, my dad was a disc jockey for many, many years.
Oh,
so actually I grew up with a lot of Radio London. Yeah, well, maybe it's to do with that. So, no, I actually got quite good musical knowledge. I don't know nothing about that head bashing stuff. I really don't. Never had any interest in it. But I mean, actually, my musical knowledge from 70s, 80s, and 90s is not too bad, old boy.
All right, okay. I'll let you off that one then.
But you're always talking about heavy metal shit, so I'm never going to know, am I?
Anyway, okay.
Sorry.
So you know all about Jonah Louie and people like that.
Yeah, no, I would know about Jonah Louie, the undertones and all that. It's not bad musical knowledge. I like Frank Sinatra.
I don't know the undertones. Jonah Louie, he was a bit bizarro.
Yeah, but top Christmas song, let's be honest. Yeah, you always find me in the kitchen at parties.
That's a cracker.
In the kitchen at parties.
I love it. That was
Didn't you have a band called Safety Dance? Weren't they Australian? They were called
I don't know, but I know
Safety
the song.
Dance. Yeah,
No,
it's
that
Safe
was
to
the name of the song,
Dance.
isn't it?
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Safe to Dance, Safe to Dance. Yeah. Okay, I can't sing, as we know. Anyway, moving
I
on.
didn't know they were Australian.
No,
Best
maybe they
mover.
weren't. I thought they were.
Okay, race 18, the Albany Stakes. And that's a Group 3, 6 furlong for fillies.
Okay, well, looking through, there's a few newbies actually from myself. There's another one from John in there. Like Softish Ground as well. I mean, that offshore looks a bit in and out, doesn't it? Paul Rhodes, horse top of the. I haven't really tipped many of Paul's, and I don't believe he's going to have. I know he hasn't had his season particularly good as a normal, or as last year, should I say? No, well, I think we'll go for. Did you want a tricky one? No, I'm going to go for offshore for Paul Rhodes. I mean, it's rated 111. It's £5 better than would make it £5 better than anything else, and I think it probably will win. So offshore for Paul Rhodes for me. And you, Martin?
It's a bit of a patchy looking race, isn't it, this, to be honest? There's not a great deal of form to go on, so those new horses are not going to have to be that good to win, are they? Which does make you look at John Morgan having a newcomer in there, My Melody Parks, and you would have to think that probably, if it's going to be anywhere near as good as his others, he's going to win first time up.
I agree. I'm going to go with My Melody Parks, and also for the fact it's good to soft going, and it's the only horse with soft liking of the ground, so that's the reason why I'm going for My Melody Parks.
Right, okay, that's good then. So it's time for another little bit of a wander outside, I think.
Okay, I've spotted the celebrity guest of the day. It looks like a local horse fan. It's Carol Vorderman. Always turns up, likes a drink. I'm not sure she owns horses, or she has friends that owns horses, or she just likes a drink. She's looking very dashing in that grey. What do you think there, Doug?
No one's ever dashing in grey.
No, thanks very much.
Anyway, who is she?
Oh, she's a mad mathematician woman. Gets on telly. She's a bit of a celebrity. Now, I think she was in that Get Me Out of Here thing in the jungle in Australia. I don't think she won it. She did a program called Countdown that she was like, you have Countdown in Australia, don't you, Doug? No?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, it's a quiz, it's a clever quiz game, and she did this maths thing. Tried to get it before she did it. But yeah, no, she's been around a while now, I think.
So she likes a drink.
Basically, what happens is over here, Doug. Every time there's a big race meeting on the telly, they always like to have a look round and find a few sort of like Z-list footballers and people who have been in soap operas to sort of like talk to in between the races. And she turns up most meetings, and she's usually had a few when she comes on. But she does like her racing, so it's good. We ought to be promoting her really, because she is interested.
She's 57.
I think she's got a few horses on. Of course, what used to happen is that racing used to be on Channel 4, and her programme Countdown was on Channel 4, and it used to start as the racing finished. So there was a little bit of a sort of link between the two programmes, I suppose, because it was on the same sort of channel. So I'm sure that's how she gets all the freebies into the races and all that sort of stuff.
Nothing like a freebie.
No, there's nothing like a freebie at all. I'm sure she'll be having a good day, back a few winners, and she's not going to get diddled by the bookies because she's a super genius mathematician. So anyway, that's our celebrity spotting for the day done. So it's time to give. Well, it's Doug's Daily Double next, isn't it? Who are you giving the Daily Double to, Doug? Have you spotted anybody today?
The Daily Double. Well, Gray's got 2 birds, hasn't he?
Has he only got 2? It sounds like he's got about 102 when he does his commentaries and stuff when they're in there with him.
Sometimes it does, doesn't it? But I've always imagined there was 2 birds. I don't know what their names are.
Probably Arkle and Millhouse or something. Probably I don't know.
Have I ever told you that the word budgerigard in the Aboriginal language means good tucker?
It means what?
What does good tucker mean?
They're a good feed, mate.
Oh, okay.
Throw them in the fire, roast the feathers off, roast them up, and just eat them like a quail.
Oh.
Well, they eat sparrows out here.
How could you eat a sparrow? It's like eating a rat.
No, I know they do. They just kind of fry them up and everything here in Spain. Sparrows. It's not even a delicacy. People go and hunt them in fields with a little cage and then eat them.
What I find really interesting here is for the second year in a row, we've got a woman who's got a close relationship with Gray and his bunchies.
I know, he's a bit of a dark horse, this Gray. They all sort of like have a bit of a thing with the ladies.
Cages.
Oh, Gray, they like him, don't they? But that's a pretty weird outfit she's got on, isn't it?
Well, I assume she's lost the skirt. Isn't that supposed
still
to
got the cage.
Yeah, she's still got the cage. She's got several cages into a bit of the old BDSM, I guess. One for you, Doug.
Yeah. So yeah, that bottom bit. I think you're right, Stu. That is what they used to wear in the sort of olden days, isn't it? Where there's those big full skirts, like crinoline lady type things.
Yeah, the kind of Victoriana times, I would have thought.
Yeah, 1970s.
She's got bloomers on as well. Sorry.
1970s toilet roll holders. Do you remember them? Your old auntie always used to have a crinoline lady over the top of the toilet tissue.
Oh yeah, on top of the cistern. Yeah, no, that was funny. I remember them. Do people not have them anymore?
I don't think so. I think now the toilet tissue costs that much, and it's all cushioned and padded and stuff. People on the shelf, they've got the good stuff, so they don't bother hiding it underneath a crinoline lady anymore.
That 3-ply stuff's too thick.
So anyway, I hope Gray's budgies are safe, because she'll obviously deliver those cages back to him later on today, and he can
I'd be glad to be out of there.
He can put Arkle and Millhouse back in their cages. So hat time then, and
yeah, no, I can see one over by the bushes.
All right, okay.
The lassie with the red hair and the keyboard on her head.
That's very musical. And talking about musical stuff, wasn't it funny in the live stream last night after the conversation that we'd had earlier that day about the undertones, that when we all got there, the undertones were on.
Well, playing that was very strange. That makes me think Graham's listening in.
I think he's got us booked. It was a bit strange, you know. I mean, Shergal Farky, or whatever his name is, blurring out. That's him, yeah.
Virgil Sharky, Virgil.
Yeah.
Verbal Sharky. No, Virgil Sharky. Gerbil the Gerbil. No,
oh, yeah, I couldn't believe that. Good Lucas the blooming Gerbil went to one, didn't it?
And it won.
It won well as well, which is, yeah, it's just this thing, you can't call good horses stupid names. But, anyway.
Apparently you can.
Well, apparently you can, yeah. So, yeah, this woman's got to win this.
Go unbeaten.
Yeah, it could, couldn't it?
Looks like it.
I think she's going to win the prize for the hat today, because she's got a keyword on her head. Rick Wakeman would like that, wouldn't he? And, you know, Rick Wakeman...
Elton John would probably like it as well.
Oh, I don't think Elton John would be able to reach, would he? He's too high up for him.
Probably not. Is that dyed red hair? It looks dyed. I know that's natural, that colour. Unless she's Irish.
No, it doesn't look real, does it? It looks like it's come out of a bottle, that does.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, you can tell I'm an expert on hair, so I know all about these things, and that looks like it's come out of a bottle to me.
Yeah, it's unusual hat.
Yeah, very unusual.
It is. We'll have to have a little look around later and see if we can find a bloke with some drums on his head or one with a guitar or something. Perhaps we could put a whole band together before the end of the week.
Could do. Maybe she's at the Cause. Didn't they all have red hair?
I don't know.
I don't know, to be honest. I can't remember. A lot of these women that are involved in music sort of change their hair colour on a daily basis, don't they? They look totally different from one day to the next.
Well, there are all those false extensions as well they put in their hair. None of them have got long hair. All got extensions. Okay, and that moves us on to race 21, which is the old King Edward VII Stakes. That's a 1 mile 4 Group 2 for the Colts this time. Quite a small field. What do you think there, Martin? A couple of newbies in there.
There is. This one used to be called the Ascot Derby, because it's normally contended by horses that have either missed the Derby or run down the field in the Derby. And I don't know whether we've got any Derby horses in this. In fact, with Twisted Logic, we've actually got the Derby winner in it, which is something that doesn't happen very often in real life. So that's going to be interesting. So, with the way I like to do things, and I like horses that are unbeaten, and I like classic winners, so I've got to go for Twisted Logic. Although this is probably a race where I've maybe got an outside chance of sneaking into the money with Playground, who was put in the game to be my Derby horse. I didn't actually run it in the Derby in the end, I don't think, because it won a handicap on disqualification off poor old Molly X Surfer. So I'm hoping that one will be one of my better runs of the week, but I'm going to go for Twisted Logic.
See, I'm going to be completely unoriginal and go with Twisted Logic as well.
Oh, let's go for the same. Okay. Go for Stephen Runs Derby, whenever. It's going to carry a penalty, like he says. What's that, £3, or is it more than 3?
It's probably could be 5. Probably.
Okay, I'm not too sure what it is. Well, I think it's carrying an extra 5. Did London Bridge run in the Derby as well? Did it not? Can't remember, to be truthful with you. I'm going to have a quick look. It's previous. It did, and it came second. So, okay, this will be just my basic theory. Let's see how far it was behind in second. It was only a short head, so London Bridge is going to take the win, because the £5 weight will be the thing that will pull Twisted Logic back. So I'm going for London Bridge for Paul Rhodes.
Applying a little bit of science there then as well.
Yeah, a little bit of science, not much at all really. Anyway, that moves us on to the Coronation Stakes. This is the 1 mile Group 1 fillies for the 3-year-olds. Race number 22. D2. Very small field. What do you think, Doug?
Silhouette Thunderspark.
Okay, straight in there, Martin.
Yeah, well, the first thing to say about this is with only 6 in there's only one trainer that's not going to pick up some money. I mean, sort of half wishing I'd put one in myself now. Looks like it's going to be quite a good race though, because there's some good horses in there. I like Turquoise Velez because I've tipped that a couple of times and it's run well a couple of times. But having said that, I can't go against my own theory, can I? And Silhouette is unbeaten and will remain unbeaten, I believe, after this race.
Yeah, no, you could be right there. I don't necessarily want to always follow that format. It's also can run 1 mile but not 6 furlongs. But it says preferred distance of 7. What was his last 2 races, that Silhouette? Can it make a mile? Let's have a look. I know it did win a Group 1 last of the Randwick Guineas over in Australia. And then it won a listed over 7 the week before. So no, I'll probably go along with you all there on Silhouette. I think it might be a shoe-in for Thunder there. So, and a nice prize pot as well, £380,000 to be shared. Very good. Well, that moves us on to the penultimate race of day 2, and that's a Commonwealth Cup. It's a 6 furlong Group 1 for 3-year-olds. Again, a fairly small field. We've only got, 7 runners here. Not all the big boys are in here. So, funny for a Group 1. And actually only one of the champion trainers in there with Paul and Steve Rand's in there. But the rest are not your normal Group 1 winners. So would that mean... What happened to Hangover for Steve Rand's horse last time out? They rarely have a 0 against any of their names.
I think you suggested he ran it over the wrong trip, I think.
Okay.
It's only a furlong less.
I mean, we've not really tipped much of Jim Murray's, and he was doing very well at the beginning of the season. I don't know why we think that all of a sudden he's not going to do well. So I'm going to tip Jim's. I think Quiller's Pride Girl. I'm fingers crossed. I'm not sure. I think it's open race, very open. So Quiller's Pride Girl for me, for Jim. And you guys, who wants to go first? Doug?
Isola Velez for Darren Thompson.
Okay.
He's not messing about today, that Doug, is he? He's straight in there with his selection, and that's it. Wallop. It's in like Flynn or whatever it is. But
that's the one, old Errol.
He was only 4 for 8.
What's going to win? I haven't got a clue, to be honest. What have you two gone for? Quiller's Pride Girl and Isola Velez. So I suppose I ought to go for something different, because we all went for the same one a couple of times today already. I haven't tipped many Paul Rhodes horses this week. Let's have press conference.
Okay, press conference. Back-to-back wins now in group company. So, okay. It hasn't done particularly well in group company, so I assume it's his last 2 races. But you never know. Like you say, with such a small field, and if you get a good break and everything, and a good ground, you imagine that all in fact, they all say they prefer good ground other than Sirius at the bottom. But and the trainer's lost his mind, so he says. Anyway, that moves us on to the last one at Ascot today on day 2, and it's a big field of the Wolferton Handicap. It's a 1 mile 200 for the older chappies, 4+. So what do we think there, Martin?
Interesting sort of race, this one. I notice you've got your Puppet Master, and that's your one that won the Group 3 on the first day of the season, isn't it?
It was the first day and the first race of the season, and I've not succeeded with much else since then.
So if that if that shows that sort of form, then that's got to be with a chance off that sort of weight. I don't quite understand how some of the weights work. I mean, most people normally moan about their horses being handicapped having too much weight. If you look at the bottom of the card, I've got a horse called Russian Fox batted this, which was around last season, has already won this season and won twice last season, and yet for some reason has only got a handicap mark of 65.
65.
I really don't understand.
You must be hopeful then, Martin, I think.
I would be if it was a furlong shorter. It's one of those horses that falls in between 2 sort of stalls. It's not quick enough for a mile, and it tends to come through to challenge a little bit too early on these 1 mile 2 furlong races and then get swallowed up. But I really don't understand how it's only got a rating of 65. I know it's a backward thing to be saying. I should be rubbing my hands together with glee, but it's baffling, and I'm sure if it wins, there will be 1 or 2 other trainers in there who will be saying, how on earth has a 3-time league winner got into this race of 65?
That'll be me then.
But having said that, I better tip one, haven't I, really? And I like the look of the top 2, but they've got to give chunks of weight away. So I'm going to go for the Orange Light Molliet Surfer.
Okay, interesting. What do you think, Doug?
That's what I was going to go for. Yep, so I'll stick with it, but I also did like Navy Avocado for Darren Thompson. It's just these handicap races, top weights don't have a great success rate. So that's I'm going the Orange Light. I do actually like my horse, but look, I don't. Yeah, every time I like one of my horses, it does nothing. So I'll stick with the Orange Light.
Okay. Well, if I had to pick one, I'd like to pick mine because I think it should win off of 89 against these. But like you say, I mean, it's had such poor form since it. I mean, it was almost. I only kept it in because I mean it's run really poorly. I mean, it came fourth, I think, in the listed, and then it's been in its last handicap race, an 110, it came 12th. And obviously it was carrying more weight than it's going to today. So I'm not going to give mine the kiss of death. I'm actually going to go for Martin's Russian Foxbat. I think off of bottom weight, 7 stone 10, I imagine it'll be carrying. So it'll be out of the handicap, won't it? And
it is a multiple winner.
It is a multiple winner. And like you say, we know horses that do well in the league, you know, will go on and continue to do well in the league. I think once it's cracked its first winner, they do all seem to go on. So no, Martin, there you go, mate. Kiss of death for you in the last race of D2.
Thank you very much. So we'll see what happens with that then. So it's it's in the bag, I suppose, for day 2. The Queen's here and everything's done, and we've been out and had a look and see what's going on. So I suppose we better get on with the racing now, shall we? And we'll all reconvene for a little livener after the racing.